So enjoy. Thank you very much, Mark.
All right, well, thank you. And thanks to California APCO for holding this event and for all of you participants sitting and listening to what we have to say. I am Mark Behrens. I'm with ICOM America, and I am going to go over today just a brief overview of who ICOM is and our newest P25 radio line. I will try and make it fast to stay within the 15-20 minute time frame. Who is ICOM? Well, ICOM is a Japanese company, been in business producing radios for over 50 years, started in the amateur world, amateur radios, but have since grown to have a comprehensive set of wireless communication product lines for air, land, and sea applications. ICOM is dedicated to the notorious Japanese commitment to quality in their engineering and production approaches, and have developed product lines to meet the rigorous environmental and military standards needed in today's environment. ICOM's factories are state-of-the-art. They are highly automated right now, and they perform assembly, adjustment, and inspections. And we are on a path to be a fully automated production lines by 2023. So it's an impressive product, our production line to witness, with robots running around the floors. It's really quite something to see. ICOM is a global company with subsidiaries or distributors throughout the world. In the United States, you see in the corner with all the dots, we have over 500 dealerships to support our customers at a local basis. In the Americas, the headquarters is in Seattle, Kirkland, Washington, actually, and we are the central point for both North and South America. As I mentioned, ICOM has a comprehensive product line. Our latest are the satellite radios. We have both portable radios and mobile radios that use the Iridium low Earth orbit satellite constellations. And these radios are fairly affordable for a satellite radio. I have to tell you, I was kind of surprised because everyone thinks satellite radios are super expensive. This is a kind of affordable solution. And the beauty of a low Earth orbit satellite constellation is the satellites are continually moving. So with 66 satellites in orbit, you usually have coverage. And if you don't, you wait a few minutes and you'll have coverage, unlike the geosynchronous, where if you're stuck somewhere, you're out of luck. So we're pretty excited about the satellite line. We've had LTE radios out for a couple of years now. We have both portable and mobile radios, and we're developing an app to work with that. We've had Wi-Fi radios for quite some time, several years now. Pretty handy device for campuses that have good Wi-Fi coverage. Of course, we have analog radios and digital radios where our P25 radios fit. And then we have a gateway that ties all these types of technologies together in a seamless system to help people communicate. So let's get into the P25 radio. Our latest radio is the F700 series. It's the third generation P25 platform that ICOM has produced. The first generation is long gone now, but it was just a P25 conventional radio. Then we came out with the second generation, the F9000 series radio, which was a phase 1 trunking radio. And then now we have the F7000 series, which is both phase 1 and phase 2 trunking. It has VHF, UHF, and 7800 models available in both portables and mobiles. So this new 7000 series platform is built on a solid hardware design, and the heart of that design is a system on a chip. On one chip, we've developed our own chip that has the computer, the DSP, ADD, and D-Day converter, RAM, waveform processing, all in one package. And because we are able to do that, because all those components are in a single chip, the component count drops down, the product size drops down, power consumption drops down, and as it turns out, the pricing drops down too. So this is a very affordable platform. We also use this same basic hardware design in our commercial radio lines. And so we get some benefit of volume as we do that, and a fairly established user base of this chip. It's well used, well tested. Our design is built on a metal core, so it's very rugged, and even though it's small, it is not delicate. And you know, because even though we have the reduced side, it still meets all the environmental standards that you would expect. The portable radio has water ingress of rating of IP68, and the mobile has an IP55. So they're hardy designs. The portable has a high capacity battery as standard. It's a smart battery, and then there's a smart charger that you can buy as an optional charger that provides, you know, battery health, charge cycles, that sort of thing. Just kind of perspective, here's a P25 product line that was at a PTIG booth once upon a time, and you can see the ICOM radio, how it sizes up against the competition, and it basically puts us as an industry leading in size and weight for a P25 radio. So what's in that package? Well, there are a lot of features built into this platform. One of the approaches we took, though, is we want you to pay for what you need. So we've licensed various different types of feature sets. And so if you need them, you can buy them. If you don't need any of these, you can buy a P25 conventional radio out of the box. But if you need phase 1 trunking, you can get a license for that. Phase 2 trunking, similarly, all these are licenses: AES, wideband, P25 voting scan, location services, over-the-air programming, front panel programming. All these are licenses you can buy, but if you don't need them, you don't have to pay for them. And also for a trunking system, we have the advanced system key, you know, to ensure that, you know, rogues don't get on and listen to your system with our radios. We also have a very nice color LCD display. It's trans-reflective, which, you know, I didn't know what that meant when it first came out, but it turns out what that means is you can stand in the bright sunlight with your sunglasses on and still read this screen. It's pretty impressive. And it's a very high quality, so you can put an image on that screen. So when you start up, you can have your agency logo display on the screen. They have fairly detailed icons that help you navigate. So the navigation of this radio is real easy. If you remember some of the older radios where you have trees of selections, you can easily get lost in where you're at. With this and the button displays, the way it's laid out, it's very difficult to get lost as you're trying to find a particular feature. But having said that, you can also just not display some of these features. So if you don't want your users to get confused, you can just essentially hide those choices from them. And we obviously have a day and a night mode. Speaking of buttons, which I didn't put on here, we also have dual purpose buttons, so you can program a single button to have 2 different functions if you need that many choices. The GPS is built into these radios, and with the location services, you can get an output to a mapping system, or, which is very nice with this display, is you can have a directional vector displayed on there. So if you receive a call from another radio, you'll have a little compass-like thing that points and says that radio is a 1/4 mile to the northeast of you. So that's pretty handy for a lot of different applications. And it's, you know, with this display, it's very easy to see. Bluetooth is built into this radio, mostly used for audio, although you can program the radio using the Bluetooth interface. There's a USB port built into this radio, and it's the primary way to do programming and firmware uploads. And it's very fast compared to the accessory port. So it's very nice to have. There's also a ability to retrieve data off of the radio using the USB. And most of that data is stored on the micro SD. There's a micro SD slot in the radio. You put a little card in there, 32 gigabit card, for example, and you can record calls. Up to like 500 hours of calls can be recorded on here. Channel announcements can be programmed into the radio. So instead of saying one, you can actually have the name of the channel announced when you use a micro SD card. And you can also use the micro SD card for programming. There's other data that's stored on the micro SD card as well. As far as audio quality on these radios, you might think with the smaller radio, the smaller speaker, the qualities could be impacted, but it's not. We have transmit and receive noise canceller capabilities built into this radio, selectable in the programming. You have an audio equalizer that you can adjust in programming, and a 1300 milliwatt speaker. So there's good, loud and clear audio coming out of this radio. The 13 milliwatt, 100 milliwatt is for the portables, of course. The mobile radios have various remote head configurations. You can have just a single remote head. Obviously, you can have the head attached to the radio, but if you want a remote configuration, you can have a single head, a dual head, or you can have a remote head with a command mic. And the command mic is laid out just like the portable radio. So if you're used to using the portable radio, when you grab the command mic, you're not going to be confused by a different layout or anything like that. And then there's various lengths of cables that you can use to set up the remote heads. I mentioned a second ago about the data that's available. We have a software application called RDT Pro, and that software, it uses the data that's stored on the micro SD card and retrieved by the USB port onto your computer. You store that data onto your computer, and then you use this software to access that data. And the data can either be displayed in a table like this up here, or it can be displayed on a map. We use Google Map, but you can display it on a map, and you can see where the radio has been. It has the location and the time, and it has an RSSI value. It has a recorded voice. So if you see a dot, you can click on it and play the voice that was recorded at that time. The channel and the zone, the mode, the volume, and some other data is captured on there. All can be displayed, and you can either look at it in the table or here in the map. And so we find that this is a very handy little tool for technicians. You can either use it to characterize your network to see where your dead spots might be based on RSSI. You can put a card, a micro SD card in your mobile radio, drive around, or your portable radio and drive around. And you can kind of capture what the RSSI value is. And the colors of these dots relates to the RSSI value. And you can kind of see where there might be some dead spots. So that's one way to use it. But the way most people use it is if you have a card into all the radios, and if somebody in the field says, hey, my radio is just not working right, there's something wrong, all you really have to do is access that radio, take a look at the micro SD card, take a look at the data, either one of these two ways, and you can tell whether or not they had their volume down, for example, or the RSSI level was low in that spot, or they were on the wrong channel. Helps diagnose problems a lot faster, cuts down a lot of questions. And as we all know, radio users don't pay that close of attention about when their radio does or doesn't work. All they know is they're not happy with it, and they complain about it. So here's a way that you can get handy data fairly easily to support your teams out in the field. So I guess the question is, who would want to use this radio? And as I mentioned, the price point is fairly attractive for a P25 radio with all these features and capabilities and durability. So we think there's a great market out there for public service organizations that want to use your P25 system that's in place, but they don't want to pay the exorbitant P25 prices for a radio for their public works department or their roads department or anything like that. So this is a great market for this radio. But we also, think this is highly applicable to just the typical public safety officer out there. We do think that because of the small size, there might be a little bit more interest in it from, captains and chiefs and commanders, or maybe from the SWAT or tactical teams or undercover people that don't want a big bulky radio in their way. So there might be, some extra interest from them on this type of radio. But it's also, good just for the standard field officers out there that need a small. I mean, they're carrying more and more equipment all the time, so a smaller radio can be attractive. So that's who we think, might be interested in this. We've got thousands of these radios out there right now, various systems. So it's a tried and true solution. So I want to thank you for your time. Again, my name is Mark Behrens. If you need to get a hold of me, it's real easy, Mark B at ICOM America. But you can also get a hold of our partners at RF Works, Lee, Terry, or Irv, and give them a call if you have any questions. I don't know if I saw a question up here. Let me see how to use this.
Nope, I didn't see any questions for you.
Something was flashing. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, my warning you just about time.
Oh, okay.
You're good. So yeah,
right.
Are there any questions you have from the participants for Mark or ICOM in general? Doesn't look like there are any questions, but you have Mark's contact information there. So I'm going to stop the recording at this time.
All right, thank you.